So we're out here today at Kaweah Creek introducing our updated 2018 KX250F. When people ask me about what's new with this bike, I always like to just remind them that for 2017 we had an all-new slim chassis, all-new engine, all-new bodywork. So for 2018, the engineers focused on updating the engine power, giving us a little bit more torque and a little bit more horsepower. They also focused on the balance of the suspension, front and rear balance, especially improving the suspension action in the braking bumps. So let's take a closer look at each one of those changes. Okay, so we'll start with the engine, and in my thinking it all starts in the airbox. So for 2018 we've improved the airbox. The intake funnel has been shortened for higher velocity into the new throttle body. New throttle body has a new angle for the fuel injector, so the fuel is injected more in line with the flow of air. And then we have an all-new cylinder head, and the cylinder head features some internal changes to the intake ports. So each port has been lengthened. The divider in between the two ports has been lengthened. So this gives us better flow into the cylinder. We have a new piston, some very slight changes on the piston, and then we have a new header pipe. The new header pipe is a little bit longer, a little bit fatter, and that's again for increased torque. So to wrap it up on the engine, a little bit more torque and a little bit more over rev for those riders out there riding their new 250Fs. So on the suspension side of things, you may read like in a brochure or something that says new settings. What does that mean? What that means is Showa, our supplier, and our race team and our R&D guys have worked really hard to make sure the spring rate and the damping rates are perfected so that you get a smoother entry into corners, especially bumpy corners. So they've actually softened the spring rate, but they've added preload. And then they've changed the valve stack. So the net result of this is smoother entry under braking, and to balance that out with the rear, they've made some changes to the rear shock settings as well. Again, it's internal damping changes. All of this is adjustable for the rider, so we're really happy with the package that we have for 2018. Okay, so for 2018, we've got improvements to the engine, improvements to the suspension. A lot of these changes are things that the rider, in the aftermarket really can't address. In other words, the changes to the cylinder head really can only be addressed at the factory level. So we've got a lot of detail changes. In fact, there's over 50 new part numbers on this bike. We're just scratching the surface on some of the major changes that we're telling you about. We also have new cam, new throttle body, new fuel injectors. So a lot of little detail changes, but the sum of this, what really matters is what do the riders think about it. So what I'd like to do is have some of the test riders tell you more about the results of these changes out on the track.